Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm just waiting for inspiration to hit"? I never really liked that phrase because it makes inspiration sound completely random and out of your control. Having to make 2 videos every week, and at one point making 1 video a day, I've come up with a pretty good system to make inspiration more than just a random lightning bolt. Hi there friends, welcome back to the channel where we focus on self-improvement, productivity, and making the best possible versions of ourselves. Now I want to be really careful not to speak for other people here, but just from my own experiences. And in order for this to help the most, we're going to take it in a pretty specific order. First, we're going to look at what is inspiration. Then we're going to look at where does it come from. And lastly, we're going to look at how to channel it so that it can happen more often. Understanding those first two is key to being able to learn how to kind of channel that inspiration and get it to happen more regularly. So what is inspiration? Well, inspiration can be a little sticky to nail down sometimes, so let's look at some ways we can classify it. Inspiration feels like it occurs spontaneously and without intention. Therefore, it feels like something that happens to you rather than something you choose or plan to experience. It's the experience of something beyond usual everyday occurrences. Inspiration is likely to cause you to take purposeful action and to motivate you to create or do something new. It can open up possibilities that you previously thought were unlikely or even impossible. Now, where does it come from? For me, inspiration would tend to come from either within or without. If it's from without, it would usually come from watching a motivational speech or a YouTube video from someone that I look up to, a podcast, reading a book, drinking a Red Bull. There's all kinds of options. But coming from within was probably the most common. This would be like when I was, watching a movie or going on a walk or just sitting somewhere, and then wham, out of the blue, this massive dose of inspiration would hit me for something, and it would feel completely random. This form of inspiration that comes from within tended to last longer and gave me more vision and motivation. In my opinion, this is the best kind of inspiration, which is why the majority of this video is going to be focusing on motivation and inspiration from within. Before we do that though, I do want to give you a caution from pulling or sucking motivation and inspiration from other people. I used to do this quite a bit and it works actually quite well. The problem is that after a while it runs out, and if that's the only way that you know how to get inspiration or motivation, then it's just going to kind of leave you sitting there. And I experienced this hardcore. It's actually the main cause of why I burnt out about 2 years ago. Before I give you the final portion of this video, which is how I actually created my own, or still do create my own inspiration, I just want to take a quick second to say thank you for all of the support you guys give this YouTube channel and this video. Whether that's a like or a comment or subscription, whatever, it really goes a long ways. So thank you. I used to think that when inspiration hit, it was out of the blue and totally random, but I think I actually found a pattern for it. Here's the method that I personally use to find inspiration. Now let's say I'm trying to become inspired to, say, write a script for a video. The first thing I'll do is I'll remove all external stimulation so that there's no input whatsoever. If I have a topic in mind, then I'll spend some time thinking about it and kind of meditating on what I want the finished product to look like, and just kind of visualizing what that would be. It's sort of like creating a masterpiece in your head. And removing external input is critical here because it forces your mind to actually work. It can't be distracted and bounce off other things. If that doesn't work, then I move to the next phase, which is the 5-minute rule. Often I found that inspiration and motivation, actually for that matter, usually come after you start the project. The 5-minute rule basically just means that I take 5 to 10 minutes and just start and just begin working on that project. And usually after intently working on it for 5 to 10 minutes, my mind will begin to get a hold of it and just start running with it. I find myself getting more and more inspired the longer I go with that. Now let's say I try the 5 to 10 minute rule, or even longer maybe, and it just doesn't work. I'm not getting inspired. I'm hitting writer's block. I don't have any new ideas. If that's the case, then I go into the final stage of finding that inspiration. And to do that, I will basically just take that work that I've been doing, set it aside, and do something completely unrelated, something totally different, whether that's taking a walk in nature or going and playing a sport or whatever, just something that I enjoy that totally takes my mind off of it. And that right there is usually when you get those profound, completely out of the blue, random blasts of inspiration. Because what you don't realize is that while your conscious mind is doing something else, your subconscious is sitting in there cogitating everything that you had been working on. And then at the most random times, your brain will have a light bulb moment and you'll just get blasted with this huge burst of inspiration and motivation. That's why I always take my phone or a notebook or something with me wherever I go, because I don't want to miss these moments. Why do you think some of your best ideas come in the shower? I once read a story about a famous composer who, when asked how he finds inspiration for his work, he said, "I work on my piece for several hours, and then I go to the movies." It's very polar opposites, right? But he realized the importance of working really hard on something, but also the importance of giving your mind time to meditate on the topic and to provide you with ideas. Sometimes the harder you try to push something, the harder it is, and you just have to step back and let it do its thing. Now, there's a good chance that while you were watching this video, you thought of someone else that could benefit from hearing about this topic. If that's the case, I would highly encourage you to send them this video. If they choose not to watch it or they don't want to be interested in it, it's totally fine. That's on them. It's not on you. But it's worse yet if they never have the option to hear. So with that being said, as always, stay creative, and I'll see you in the next video.